too good. These tunes are from 1994. So good. Of course. Of course it's Jazz Jackrabbit, Spinal Tap Song. Of course. It's a fantastic soundtrack. Fantastic. It's too good. It's actually too good. Alright. With the intro here. Hi everyone. Welcome. We're doing some real talk today. We're looking at yeah, Cliffy B special. Exactly, you got it. You got it. Man. It's a good game. It's pretty fun. Sonic with guns. Yeah, we're looking at Alex and Ian today. There you go. Pretty exciting. I'm trying to think if anything new and exciting has happened in the last 2 weeks. I feel like something important happened recently. Perhaps 1 week ago. Was it this?
Welcome to the party.
Was it this?
Let us keep this civilized.
Welcome to the party.
With you till the end. Needles up. Stay alive.
This will be over real quick. Oh, me!
Get over here.
Ready? Okay.
Grenades, anyone?
They'll never see this coming. I taste their panic.
Good day. Stop this treachery!
Come on, it's fun. The crowd goes wild.
Let there be fire!
Well, it's been a blast. Or it will be.
Whoa! Pretty exciting, right? Pretty exciting. I'm stoked. Yeah, Craig over here has been heading this one up for some time. And we're stoked that we can finally talk about it, at least in some respect now. The NDA isn't fully lifted, but now we can say it exists. There you go. Been working on that for a long time. A long time. With the, oh, here we go. With the Subnautica team. It's a very different game than Subnautica, but they've been amazing to work with. And it's actually a good time. I think Craig has been enjoying it most of all. It's like very, very much his kind of game. Oh, okay. It is the Gotham. Okay, I knew it was. I thought that was you, Gotham. Congratulations. It's great to hear. What a pivot, lol. Yeah, exactly, Alex, right? It's pretty serious. Excuse me. Yeah, from natural selection to, you know, it's like, you know, blood pumping, nervous, on edge action into Subnautica. It's like underwater, atmospheric, making stuff. And now, yeah, miniatures, turn-based. It's quite different again. But it's a talented team. If anyone can do it, it's them. Yeah, Spinal Tap, I saw it was your first time in the chat. What's up? Glad to see you, you made it this time. Cheers. Good to have you. So, who else we have? We have Coal Miner Audio. Hey, Kevin. Matt Callahan, Finfamous, says favorite announcement from Gamescom. That's too kind. Thanks a lot. Yeah, and yes, thank you, Matt. Shout out to Steve Pardo for the music, definitely. Yeah, I haven't worked with Steve personally very much, but I've been hearing very good things. Yeah, hey, Don Laundry. Joey Goddard in the chat. Rare. Good to have you. Also, we got Wayne, we got Josh, and Alex is there. Good. Ian, are you in the chat? Ian Riley? You checked in and said, I'll be here. So are you one of the people I've called out? Are you... Okay, you're not JGAP SFX. That's for sure. Are you Spinal... Oh, you're... Okay, there you go. N. Riley. N. Your name's N, and you list N. Okay. Well, for those of you who are new to the chat, Spinal Tap, I'm assuming you know what's up here, but I'll let you know regardless. We're looking at some game audio demo reel materials from some up-and-comers. EN, I understand, Ian. EN. Yeah, these up-and-comers today are EN Riley, and Alex Pincus, Riley Circles. We have two Rileys. Riley Circles in the chat. EN Riley Circles. There you go. So we're looking at a few things in particular as far as our critique. It goes for myself on camera, and also all you in the chat. I welcome you to join in and give your own opinions. It's all a very collaborative atmosphere here, you know. So we have presentation first. We're looking at the website on the whole, just general navigation stuff, information stuff, just to have what we need to see, what we want to see. If we're like, oh man, I love that thing in the demo reel. Can I see more of that? Is there more of that down here somewhere? Like various stuff, just what things are present and what's it look like. And oh, it's a good track also. Man. Nostalgia. Too damn good. Next up, oh sorry, first though, for a demo reel presentation, we're looking at like the length, the flow, the titling, the transitions, just everything apart from what this thing sounds like and what's in it. For material selection, we are now concerned with what's in it, what the pieces are that have been selected for the demo reel and for the portfolio, and what these various things might suggest to someone coming in blind, what it may suggest about that person's past work history and their current skill sets and their future ambitions. And the third thing, content quality. Just, is this stuff good? Does it sound rad? Is there room to improve? Probably. I think everyone has room to improve for sure. So we'll try and point out where you could level up next. And the last thing, distinction, just, are you standing out in some positive way? Because so many people want these gigs, and there's only so many gigs to go around. So it's really important that you stand out in some way. Otherwise, it'd be just dead on arrival. You know, you won't have any. You'll just blur into the background and be forgotten. Unfortunately, might sound mean. This is kind of how it works, you know. We had for our position we had open recently. We had over 250 applications. You know, just one role. So you got to stand out some way. You gotta. It's very, very, very important. Okay, here we go. Let's start off. Sorry, Jazz. Enough of you for now. We'll do maybe Alex first. Yeah. Okay, we're at alexpincusaudio.com. Put in the chat if you want to follow along at home. Oh, please, please. There we go. Okay. All right. So we got demo reel up top, big play button. There you go, pretty obvious. We have a demo about, is this a vertical page? It is a vertical page. Hello, my name is Alex Pincus. Any relation to Chris Pincus of the judo scene? How many Pincuses are there? I'm not sure. It's a very common name. Finding a clear direction for my career was a challenge for me, since I have always been interested in just about every subject, but math and music called to me the most. My third love, gaming, often conflicted with diving deeper in any one area of academia. Therefore, I thought I had to put gaming aside to focus on my mathematics and audio science degrees. After learning about the field of sound design, though, I figured out the cheat code. If I became a game sound designer, I could finally find a symbiotic relationship between my three passions. It's not untrue. Plus, if I went back in time to tell myself at age 10 that he's going to be a sound designer for video games, I think he'd be pretty cool with that. Cute. Although he may be a little miffed that I did not go into bioengineering to invent real-life dragons. Cute. I currently work in IT, assisting with the programming of banking software and freelance... Oh. Okay, this is a comma, and freelance tutor at night. Mostly math and ACT, SAT prep. All the while pursuing a career in game sound design. I produce music under the name Riley Circles and play piano, guitar, and percussion. At Peabody Institute, I primarily did recording projects involving new compositions in classical, jazz, and rock. Other topics I studied include acoustics, audio technology, digital signal processing, psychoacoustics, and composition. All right, wonderful. Favorite albums, favorite movies, favorite games. A link, huh? What is this? Glitchwave.com collection aceguy123/game? Is aceguy123 you? Aceguy123? All right. We got 140. What are these? What is this page? I've never heard of Glitchwave before. Glitchwave. It's like a charts. You can like add things to your collection to show what you have to other people, I guess, or something. Your OG Ace guy. Okay. Wow. Classic, of course. Yeah, me too. Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, Skyrim, Oblivion, Malay. Portal 2, League, Hollow Knight, Halo 3, Hades, Braid, Bastion. 140 is a real outlier in this entire list. That's a very different kind of game. But, okay. All right. Great. How fun. Game projects, various things, Blunderbuss, Operation Bubbly, Bug, Fault. Okay. Sunshine Glob, Sea Goal, and the Beast. Some redesigns, and Slime Rancher 2 redesign. That's new, I think. We've seen one before, I think. Storytime, podcast, intro, Red Dino animation, sound design, and music. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and watch a thing. Yes? 1 second. Crank it up. It is not cranked up. It is at 5% sound. There we go. Get full screen. Can't go full screen. Go to YouTube. Settle down, please. Okay, thank you. Full screen. And no side chain. Okay, we're all ready to go. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, and. That's fun. Crazy last clip. All right. It was over. It's fading in and fading out super fast. Cool. Nice work. All right. Some fun stuff in there for sure. I have thoughts. Definitely. But nice work. Okay. I'll go sidechain back on now. Thanks everyone for the claps in the chat. Spinal Tap, where you at? It's part of being here. Throw those claps. Don't you dare go make a sandwich right now. Get back here. Put those claps in there. All right, so yeah, this is a cool intro. I like it a lot. That kind of hints at like, you know? Yeah. It hints at like interactivity. This thing is controllable, different speeds and stuff. Oh, this is not me, Spinal Tap? This isn't you, of course this isn't you. I was suggesting you clap in the chat, along with everyone else. No pressure. You can just hang out and lurk too, that's fine as well, of course. Of course. It's giving you a hard time. Let's go. Yeah, know what I'm saying, Alex? Like this hints at, you know, a thing that can move at very low speeds and sounds good regardless, and feels a little bit interactive, you know? As a result. There's those claps. There they are. What up, Spinal Tap? Let's go. Let's do it. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, this really gripped me right away. Very cool. This is the kind of thing I don't know that I would see in a linear, like a post-production demo reel, you know? It's just not quite the same thing. It's a certain little hinting towards interactivity. I love that a lot. Next. Okay, hard cut into. I kind of like that too. I like this hard cut. I like it a lot. And we're out. Okay. So we'll do presentation first. We have Deathloop Arcane Studios redesign. Okay. Next up, we have a transition to around here, right? Yeah. What is this? Is this a hard cut? It is a hard boom. There it is. On the break. And then we have another break. Another cut, rather. Like here-ish. Right? We have... Oh, didn't like that. It was not yet buffered. The break is here. This one crossfades, though. I like how the gun is like in the same spot as the character. Look at this. Up, character here, and then gun here. It's nice. It has this kind of like, I don't know if this is intentional, Alex, but my eye was on the character right here, right? Being front stage. And then we're like, oh, on the gun. So it's like very much like, yep, keep looking this way, and now we'll, you know, you lead me through the door kind of thing. It's nice. And then, let's see. Next up is the final clip, which is this one. This is like a slow crossfade. Wow. That's for sure slower than the previous one, right? It's like a 1 second crossfade. And it's done so quick. This thing is over. Look at this. Crossfade begins there-ish, so 1 minute. And we're out by 1:0, not even 4. It was like 2.5, 3 seconds long. It's so short. That is almost too short to have in your reel, I think. It kind of, this blurs the line between like material selection and presentation stuff. But as in terms of flow is definitely a presentation thing. And this, I mean, you heard me. I had an involuntary reaction. I think like, whoa, I didn't have, it wasn't like, oh, that was awesome at the end. I was like, oh, that was weird. Which maybe isn't the kind of reaction you want, because there's some strong work in your reel. And it's not that this clip is poorly designed. You know, we can certainly talk about some room for tweaks or whatever. But this here is like, it definitely is a sudden drop off a cliff, you know? Which maybe you don't want to have. Maybe not. Maybe not. Nick Von Canel is saying Santa Fe Studio? Oh yeah, is that not a thing? I don't know. Where's Ragnarok being made? God of War, right? Oh, Santa Monica. Yes, thank you. Of course, it's Santa Monica. Of course, it didn't even occur to me. Yeah, that's worth fixing. That's definitely worth fixing. Thank you all. Thank you. I should have got that too. Jeez, I was too focused on clip length stuff. Yeah, that's worth fixing. Especially if you're applying to Sony Santa Monica, you know? That would be unfortunate for sure. Okay. So, presentation wise, flow wise, length is fine. We have a 10x. Great. I was happy to watch the whole thing through, definitely. I did feel, I don't know if this is like my own, just like my own current physiology or something. I felt a bit kind of like off kilter while watching this thing right now, but it might be a hangover from 3 days ago still hitting me here. But this, it felt a bit relentless at times, but that might just be me, and it kind of lost me a little bit for that reason. But I want to watch it again and see if it's just me or if anyone else feels the same way. But I was a little bit tired at the end, and then this kind of rude finish was, yeah, kind of like a, and we're done here. You know, it just didn't feel great. So let's talk about the material selection a little bit though. Oh, and Shigans, what's up? The title's Fade Over Time. Oh, the half fade. Okay, I apologize. We gotta call it the half fade, of course, right? Svi Sherman in the house. His spirit is with us right now. And half fade. Very nice. Very nice, the half fade. We love the half fade here on Real Talk. Okay, so material selection wise, though. We have Deathloop. We have Elden Ring. We have Witchfire. God of War Ragnarok. So these are all obviously AAA. You're looking pretty hard in a AAA. Very obvious. Good stuff. Well done. Well communicated, you know? So, moving on. That's it. That's all there is to talk about there. Good to go. The one thing that we can maybe mention that Josh will call out if I do not is that we're missing implementation. So it's redesigns only here. So I can imagine that someone looking at this stuff might think, this feels like there's room for more implementation things to look at. And are there those things? We have game projects, sound redesigns. Is there any Wise, Fmod, Unreal, Unity, etc. stuff in here anywhere? It's not obvious looking at it. Here are game projects. I don't know what's going to happen when I click these. I suspect it's an itch link. There you go. So I was typing the exact comment. Yeah, Josh is on that. Yeah, I suspect these go to the itch page. They do go to the itch page. So there's itch.io in the corner. Cool. And then here it goes to Apple Apps. Here goes to GitHub. Yeah, so these say your role was sound designer, audio programmer. Okay. So this is a bit buried right now. If you were the one doing, like, putting the audio into the game, that is pretty significant. And that might even be worth, well, I don't know. It's hard to put a project that's like not AAA into a AAA reel, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Having a thing that you did and it was not a redesign can be a nice little, oh, by the way, you know? Especially if you're the one doing the implementation, right? Ian says, could be worth including the platform and any middleware used on those hover cards. Oh, like the context stuff here? Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Because, yeah, the kind of questions that AAA teams might be interested in are, like, do you have any experience doing the put sound in game part of the process? Or do you have any interest in doing that part of the process? And it's just not here right now. It kind of might be but it's not super obvious at a glance. And again, our tiny outfit at Power Up got 250 plus applications for our role. Larger studios like Bungie and stuff get way more than that. Way more. So the idea of having stuff easy to find is not because recruiters are too lazy to click through and stuff. All it is you're giving yourself a higher chance of that thing being noticed and seen, right? Because you can't expect people in the position of looking at that many applications to spend like 5-10 minutes on your page. It's just not going to happen unless you've impressed them somehow. And even then, it's still like, okay, I should move on, you know? So yeah, be aware of that. This is a pretty large dearth right now. But Alex says, there's not yet. Next project is to put implementation stuff on the page. There you go. Yeah. Matt says, I use the Unity 3D game kit, which has some combat encounters that you can implement in and transition pretty well into a AAA reel. There you go. Yeah, there definitely are like AAA-ish looking things you can use for demo content that you can pull in, and it's not going to be super, super jarring. But even so, like I think even having something like Blunderbuss in your reel like wouldn't be a death sentence, because your redesign stuff is very obviously communicating you want to work in AAA, and your, we'll call them like less fidelity projects or smaller projects just indicate that you're doing it. Like you're in the scene, you know, you're doing things, you're making stuff. And just compare that against people who have only done redesigns and have never made things and shipped them on itch or whatever. Itch is not like a invalid platform. It's great. So let's move into some content quality stuff. Yeah. Let's do that. I do want to try to recalibrate and see if I just was feeling exhausted because of external reasons and not because of your actual real Alex. Sorry about that. Louder. Yeah, so right away, this stuff here, this is kind of a, it's a bit of a challenging thing to teach and to learn. Both these things is this kind of sound here on like the Foley. So that here has some pretty serious transients, you know? And I'm just gonna do this for a second. This should be a good indication. You know? I can, here, let's see. I can do this. Yeah. Sorry, 1 hot second, friends. Let me just export this and put it somewhere I can access it. And then we'll be off to the races. Okay? Desktop is fine. It's called PC Input 19. It's a solid name for a file. Okay. This will be like 15 more seconds, I promise. I promise. Oh my lord. Maybe 30. Sorry. Oh man, we'll get there. I promise it's worth the wait. I promise. Mainly for Alex. Mainly for Alex. Where's my... Here we go. Here it is. Okay. All right, we're navigating. We're doing it. We're almost there. PC Input 19. Here it is. In the flesh. Open with RX. Okay. So here is the thing. Do you see what I'm seeing here? We'll get a wave view instead. Okay. So I'm gonna play it one more time for you here. Okay, this stuff. So be aware, like this thing here, and this thing here, and this thing here. Even like these little guys are a little bit dangerous. This one here, be aware of it. It's mainly these three though that I heard the very first time through, and I feel like that's the kind of thing that's contributing to why I was feeling a bit exhausted by the end of your reel, is because these are kind of a little bit rude. You know, they're like, here's the shape of your wave for the most part, right? So around that's like the average kind of you know, real estate it's taken up in terms of amplitude and time. But then you have these guys that are like, hey, and they're kind of pulling me out of this. They're yanking me out of the room a little bit, you know? And this can be useful and powerful in very deliberate cases, but I don't think it's deliberate. It feels like it's something you're doing and not realizing it, because this here is now the loudest part of this sound. Do you see that? Like these three things, they're all way up here and everything else is down here. So when you hear it again, that kind of, it's like a leather snapping sound or something. I'm not sure what the sound is, but it's in there somewhere. You hear that there now? you know? So those like hard kind of clicks and stuff, if they're frequent through your sound design, then the effect it can have is like we're hanging out in this space, but our ears keep being pulled over to like look at these other things. So I don't think that my exhaustion with listening to your stuff is because I'm just like, I don't know, I ate something I shouldn't have. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's because my attention is being yanked all over. I think that's what's happening here. And I'm curious to hear again if we hear more of that through the whole clip. In particular, in clicks that kind of occupy like this space, in terms of frequency, like this space here, right? Like that's not the most polite. It's pretty rough. Down here, it's like it's not quite so apparent, right? If I kill this off, go to the wave view again, you'll probably see that. Well, it's still there here, but certainly less pronounced. So, yeah, certainly. So, anyway, let's get back to the redesign. But first, Seb Guts says, okay, so I have also welcome, first time chat. What up, Seb Guts? Looking for some instant advice. So I have implementation listed on some segments of my reel, but I didn't use any middleware. I matched the sound of the clip in my DAW. You matched the sound of the clip in your DAW. Friend of mine in game dev recommended I put implementation in there, but should I not do that if I didn't use Wise or Fmod and just redesign the clip? So if you did the whole thing in a DAW only, like you have a video and the clip in the DAW, that is the definition of a redesign. The implementation aspect means that you were involved on this project in a commercial. Well, I was gonna say like professional or commercial, but I mean like in a active development capacity. Like you are on the team making this thing, and it was your responsibility to put the sound you've designed, like the sound file, to put it into the project so that it triggers in game, like playing in game. It triggers in game at the right time and in the right way. That's implementation. So if you didn't do that, the thing is, you don't need to do that in Fmod and Wise. You can do it in like just in code. You can do it in in the Unity environment or Unreal environment. You can do it in a variety of ways. Definitely, it doesn't mean Fmod and Wise full stop. All it means is you were the one putting it into the finished project or the current state of that project. That's the main thing. Hopefully that answers your question. If not, let me know. Okay, so let's carry on. You're not on the dev team for Monster Hunter World. Yeah, there you go. Definitely. Yeah, just a question of like understanding the full kind of definitions of those words is definitely worthwhile. Yeah, so like throughout here, Alex, so this jump here, it's the same thing. It's not as egregious as that first Foley arm out thing, but with the and on the backhand, like there's like a at the very end too. Yeah, just be aware. As far as how to deal with that problem, by the way, or with that situation on the transients and stuff, I mean, I would literally maybe go into it and just like do a classic like declick. This is all the contour in that case though, right? So you could do just like bring it down a hair, just like select the clip the click a little bit and bring it down a hair so it's like more kind of in the range of the rest of the content you're working with. That might be the move, If I then look at the waveform, we've got something that is like a little more, it's closer to here. It's not quite so crazy, right? That's more in the bass right there. So that's like, it's a lower frequency thing. That's just all this stuff down here. So, yeah, in this case, we still have that contour, but it's not like saying, look at me. It's just there as part of the sound now. It's like part of the whole as opposed to doing its own thing. So just be really aware of that, because transients are, of course, a huge part of sound design, and using them deliberately can be very powerful and very effective and very purposeful. But yeah, just they are also exhausting, right? Just be aware if it's like bam, 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 no, nonstop, then it tends to be a little much, you know. And in general, this also comes in with like where I was talking about, like this stuff here. Like that's those kind of frequencies. We're getting into Fletcher-Munson curve territory in our conversation here, where, you know, the idea that the human ear interprets higher frequencies more efficiently. That's part of it, at least. So when you have stuff in this area more up here, just be aware that the human ear hears these very, very well, you know? So when you have things like the neck crack, that neck crack is all that. Right? It's a lot of that there. So be aware. There's like, it's a lot of that in that area alone, but there isn't much around it as far as like fully, like that grab is kind of silent. The just very, it is very transient to start with like several kind of after it, little clicks. Of course, it's a bone break. It's a bone break. There should be clicks in the bone break, but then after as well, it's kind of silent, right? So it's not like we have this cracking moment happening like in the midst of more audio content. It's more like, here is this crack, and that's it. So there to this snap ahead. It's, I'm not sure if you're hearing it at home, but like the moment where you like snap forwards, there's another like right there as well. Right there. I wish I could hear it in slow motion. Or can I hear it in slow motion? Playback speed 0.25. You're gonna hear it? It's gonna be rough. Okay. That's not quite having the effect I'm looking for here. So it's alright. Back to one. Back to one. Yeah, welcome, Tzvi. We have a classic Tzvi Sherman approach again on this this title. Look at this. Look at this half-faded title. Back to full opacity again. So, okay. Zap ahead. Okay. So this swing and hit is actually really good in terms of the transient stuff we're talking about, or not the transients, but more like this clicks in the midst of other things happening. So this here, whoosh, that's great. But in front of it, on both the warp forwards and the Foley, we have those clicks again, right? And even before and even after it too, there's like the pull out, the kick. It's like right there on the kick. I think it's a gore click or something, maybe? It's like a gore click mixing with the boot kick or something. And it's just, it's very pull out, and you know, it's pulling my ear to the side again, you know? Yeah, so just be aware of all this. I think it comes down to the click consideration stuff. You can always take a limiter, just squash it in. If I do have things like, I do this pretty frequently actually. So I'm thinking about examples where this comes up a lot, and it might be like one thing might be a campfire loop. So let's say you have a campfire loop in your sound library, and it's got kind of like a low rumbling, warm kind of feel to it on the whole, but then up top and visually, like visibly in the waveform, it's like all these snaps happening in the wood as it burns, right? If you try and put that in your project, you're either going to have snaps that are way too loud, or you're going to have snaps that are good volume, and like silent low rumble. Because you're pulling the whole thing down as one, right? You have like, this is the level of the rumble, and this is the level of your snaps. So you're just doing this. So in the case of, in that kind of case for a project, I might just look at the rumble. I'll go into Pro Tools, wherever I'm working in, and select a region of the rumble. I just check for an amplitude peak. I'd be like, okay, it's peaking at like -24 or something. And now we have the pops are peaking at like -3. It's a massive dynamic disparity, right? In that case, I might just take the whole shit and just do like a brick wall limiter at like -24 and just see what I get. And in those cases, the big snaps and stuff, they don't have a lot of like sonic contour. So it's not like, in my experience at least, it's not like you're going to hear quote unquote distortion on like a quick little snap of a wood. It's already like a tiny, super short sound. What's going to happen, right? It's going to still be very short. You're not going to lose contour on a tiny snap. So just do that, boom, pull it in. Now you have, like I was saying before, that whole kind of, that neighborhood, the amplitude neighborhood being, you know, something like this. That's just going to feel, you have these things that are now inside of it, right? And on the whole, you now have this piece that can be like pulled way up in volume in the game and not have to worry about these snaps being obnoxiously loud when you walk near this campfire, right? So with these things you got going on here, I feel like you can kind of do the same thing. You probably have room to limit things and pull down like your outliers in the recordings you're using. You don't think going in and getting down the transient would be enough? It might be enough, but I mean, if I have like a 15-second campfire loop, I don't want to clip down like 50 snaps. That's not fun. Clip gain might work. It's possible. In other cases, I might even just like cut after it, pull the clip, and just like crossfade before the snap happens. It depends on the use case, right? The main thing being just that you are aware of it and that you're addressing it. That's it. Whatever that takes, that might be the move, right? So but back into high frequency stuff. This smash is nice. Sure, I'll take it. And now into this fight. So I feel like there's this clip has a lot going on just visually. You know, if we kill off the audio and watch it, there's like, before that, big swing, you know, on both these characters' parts, there's a lot happening. It's a lot of very detailed and nuanced Foley. So with our hero here, watch the hero for a second. You know, we have what seems to be some Foley for the hero, I think, but it seems like it's one layer of what should probably be like 10 or 12 or something, you know? It's like, we have that kind of like chain cloth thing. If that's this guy, then I fully missed that. And this is silent entirely, which for sure it should not be. This doesn't say like boss or enemy redesign. This says just redesign. So if it says that, I'm expecting as a viewer coming in blind that this whole clip, it reflects what you think the finished game could/should sound like if you were at the helm. Like that's what's happening here, right? So be very aware of missing stuff like that. There's a kind of a charge up here too. It's like a, not a charge up, sorry. It's like a block followed by like a pre-attack into the swing and the impact. Yeah, so regarding Ian says, to your point before about frequency perception, naturally those higher frequencies are going to sound louder. Yeah. So again, if you have like, if this here being pretty similar across the whole thing, you might... This isn't too unhealthy, but it's just very steady. It's also 1 second of audio. It's not the best thing to look at for a sample base. But in general, be aware, like this stuff up here and down lower, if it's just throughout, it's tiring. You know, it's very tiring. These impacts are also very indicative of that same kind of feeling I was getting. So I think that, again, I think it was not just me that was feeling tired from this. The impact before the kind of like the big whirling sequence right here, I think it was. Like this attack. A lot of these attacks are like, so they have that kind of high frequency content, either crackling or like kind of noise based, and as opposed to like, if you have like a underneath and have that top frequency content crackling, like, you know, cracking or sizzling or noise based or whatever, you can have that to support that bass for sure, but to focus an attack up there is real. It's risky. Again, it's not the wrong choice by default, but it is risky, and especially considering the size and material of this enemy. Like, what is happening this first attack here? That sounds pretty impacty. Like, close my eyes. That sounds like it's like something was impacted, you know? It was like a whoosh. It's not like a whooshing up thing. It's pretty impacty. So, again, I'll say again, I'm speaking like on previous Real Talk segments notes, but it's real important to pick and choose your moments for transients, to have impacts shaped as impacts and reserved for impactful moments, and then everything else like whooshes or you know, ramps or whatever, to be it's just to be very just pick and choose where you're putting stuff, right? Just saying, it was the impact. Was the impact? Is the sword? It was the impact of the sword from the character on the stair. I think that's what you're saying there. Oh, that crash is the sword hitting the stair right there? Really? Like this here, if that's what you're saying, I might be incorrect, but yeah. Let me know if I'm correct in interpreting what you're saying here. There's a bit of a delay here, so I might be wrong. But this is not the most important thing happening in this shot right here, right? But yeah, I'd love to hear more metal as well. The weapon in use is a big part of this character's design, right? It's kind of like double axe thing going on here. Having like a kind of a big, you know, metal through the air thing. You can also kind of, you can like color whooshes a little more metallically, like more than they would sound like in reality. If I swing like a metal axe through the air versus like a broom, they sound a bit different, sure, but you might not hear like the ring of metal on a metal axe. It's not necessarily like a metal dowel or something. You may hear like a more tonal whoom, but you wouldn't hear like a shing. But I'm a big fan of taking like sword draw, like an unsheathed shing, you know. Even that's like not what swords sound like being unsheathed. It's not nearly as dramatic, but you can have that kind of like ring on the back half of a whoosh and have like a kind of like metal dragging sound, like shaped to the same size as the whoosh, and same size being like amplitude and length and time. And you can get some good kind of like, oh, it's a metal weapon. Got it. It's definitely like kind of embellishing what it would actually sound like if you're standing there, but it helps to tell the story for sure. Okay, so here now we have little friend. These impacts are pretty wide. I think that from soft games has pretty big impacts. So I can, big being like wide. Like if you like push a black knight like off a cliff and it dies, like it voids out in the bottom of the map, you're like a shink, and it's like pretty wide, I think, if I recall correctly. So it's kind of a classic FromSoft thing. But this attack being quite wide is still maybe a bold choice. I don't know about that. The impact here, because it wasn't like the player's attack. It kind of is, but I'm not sure what it sounds like in reality in the game. It surprised me first time through that it sounded quite so wide. All right, into here now. All right, I'm not a big gun shooty guy design-wise. It's not my forte. It's also not really what I really do day-to-day work-wise. But here I know that people like Sean Lavelle, if they're in chat, would say, "Hey, your gun is it's monosyllabic." You know, it's just very, very one thing. There's some great detail in like the enemy vocalizations and so forth. I love that sound too. Have fun. Have fun. This thing here, it's like a charge up into the this here, the impact, the away could sound a little more like an away. That's one thing. Back to the transient thing, like impact versus movement, right? It's a lot of what you get in combat in video games is movement versus impacts. So this here, we have like a charge up and go. It's a go and a hit, right? We have the impact. We don't really have the away though. Like here goes, like something like that to show like some movement and frequency content to show a little more like physical movement in the space. Couldn't hurt. Yeah, back to the gun thing. It's very sudden and instantaneous. You can have more of like the kind of like the trigger and like the result of the shot in the space and like on the weapon itself. Great bell. So good. Yeah, more of a tail, says Matt. Totally. Just like more body on the whole. There's a lot of like great designing gunfire tutorials online and stuff, and ideas on Twitter and elsewhere. And yeah, they can definitely help you out for sure. It's a lot of like it's a bit much to get into in this stream. Also, I shouldn't be the one giving this tutorial. I'm not really qualified, but I love this bell though. So big, man. Great bell. Long cut too. Yeah, this spatialization here, this happening in front of you is pretty wide in the mix. It's like it's also very noise based, but yeah, be aware. Two things. They're both in service of the same goal in interactive design. So with things like this enemy moment, hearing it happen is not only just supporting what you're seeing, it can also inform the player of things. Like if they're looking elsewhere and they hear it over here, not this specific event in this specific game, anything, any sound of any enemy ever, where they're making noise in an environment and it might inform the player to turn to their right because there's an enemy there, that's real important to get right in games. Because otherwise, they get snuck up on and they might get frustrated. Instead, you are creating an opportunity by calling out the enemy's location with sound. You're creating an opportunity for that player to feel awesome. Like, oh, I heard that guy, bam, got him. even if it's a passing moment, you're helping them play the game in a fun way. You're helping them not be frustrated and upset. That's our goal. That's a big part of our goal in working in video games, right? It's like help the player, help them. So with things like this, the spatialization is important because if you have something that is, 40 feet away or whatever, and it's like really wide, well, imagine having like 4 of these things in the same environment and they're all making the same sound and they're all wide. Suddenly this spatial information means nothing. We're just hearing it and like, who knows where it is? It could be to our left or right. It's just like a wide sound, right? So it's real important. We can have things like envelopment, where if we're very close to the attack happening, especially if it's, or not attack, the event happening, especially if it's magic, we can kind of make certain assumptions or kind of just insist certain things upon the magic world of the game that, oh, this thing sounds wider if you're near it. You're inside of the magic. Like, sure, whatever. You can have it such that the closer you get, the wider it gets in the panorama. So that, yes, if it's right on top of you, it should sound big and dangerous, totally. But if you're like 40 feet away, you can pull that panorama / stereo width back. So now it's like, it's this instead. And now if those 4 things are happening, you have these like 4 separate stereo fields happening in your full panorama, and you can place them. You can like spatialize them more easily. And therefore, you can communicate those locations more easily to the player and help them win the fight. That's point 1. Point 2 is in terms of frequency content. This is super noise based. So it's a bit tonal. It's like there's like a bit of a tonal element in there, but it's mostly is most of it. So if it's very noise based, the risk there, not only in terms of like multiple of the same event happening at once, but if there's many things of different types happening as seen at once in a chaotic fight, it might be harder to pick that out if it's important. If it's not important, then whatever. But if you do think that moment is worth calling out and kind of like making it Pavlovian in a way, where like they hear a sound like, oh damn, it's that enemy again, and they know what they're hearing, then that helps a lot. They could learn what that sounds like and get to know it, but they might just miss it entirely if you've got a large chaotic soundscape happening and like happens in the middle. They're not going to hear that, guaranteed. So yeah, just be aware of this, yeah? Okay, so yeah, and Ian says, I think in general you could lean into more impactful sound design and exploring the lower frequency ranges. Totally. Have those, have that supported underneath. The content you have on your design it's not like it's bad or it shouldn't be there. It's that you might try focusing elsewhere. This last attack in your FromSoft clip, that impact, this one, and you have the kind of cracking happening afterwards. That feels great. It's stomped on by these gunshots here, but happening there. But that's a really well balanced impact on the head. This one feels great, really good. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to this stuff. Get to Ian because Ian's been very patient. Pitch shift reel down will be good. You got it. Take those shortcuts. But actually, legitimately, if I feel like a sound needs more body, I am absolutely not above duplicating the layer and pitching down an octave and just seeing how we get. Because it helps to fill in like a bit of the midsection, right? And in those cases, I might also pitch down. I'll like EQ off the top stuff because that top stuff's role is already being filled by the previous layer we pitched down, right? So that's a move. You often lose impactfulness in that case, but yeah, of course, it's. I do it all the time. I did it all the time with Celeste and Tunic and so forth. It's much easier if it's not like a hyper realistic kind of project, but definitely it's a legitimate approach for sure. I'll look at this briefly, but it's so short, dude. It sounds great, it's just so short. That is awesome. But again, we have impact versus movement, you know, again. So we have this, and then we have, and flies in. Oh no, our hero. Wow, gets so fast. That's the next frame. It's like so slow, and then boom! Okay. So, got him. Rolls. That should for sure be a impact. You know, jaws coming down. Of course, right? Look at him. Oh my goodness. That is scary. We're rolling, and then we're rearing back up. And then this is much more movement, maybe into a lesser impact on the landing, the body fall, right? But we also have like the water and stuff. So I'd love to hear more of like this story right here. Rearing up and what, you know? We don't really have that. We have a lot of the first impact. It's kind of there. It's like, but if we just close our eyes, you know, if we just do this and say, you know, tell us what happened. The back half is not as clear as far as what happened there. There is some water movement. There's some whoosh, kind of, but you can probably stand to pull some layers down, pull some stuff up, and help that like take place. And then we'll have a more like really try and make it clear with your eyes closed that this is what's happening. You know, we're having a grab, a pick up, a rear up, and woof, and throw down into the water again. There's certainly more space for that, and having more dynamic range over time can help, like more contour over time can help kind of bring that story to the forefront. Because there's various other layers, like the water movement and stuff are of course very important, but just to have them mixed in a way that it helps bring the most important element, the most important kind of progression of the story to the forefront of the mix. Okay, so I hope that was all not too mean. I was definitely focusing on like the problem areas more than like the good stuff. There's a lot of really great foundation here, Alex, definitely. A lot of great stuff. You put a lot of hard work into this, obviously. It's very clear to see that. It's just a matter of smoothing out some things here and there. I mean, you put a lot of work, so just keep it going, you know, definitely. As far as if you are standing out in a positive way yet, I think this site looks killer. The fact you're doing stuff like this goes a long way, definitely. And, oh yeah, I watched this before. You sent this to me, like, independently, right? I recall this being a thing. I think I watched this another time. Yeah, these gunshots are very similar in terms of like the height of the transient compared to the rest of the mix. It's pretty harsh. Yeah, like I almost don't want to hear it. It's yeah, I think this is also your oldest clip, if I recall correctly. What's the date in this thing? April this year. Okay, not super old, but yeah, I think that the stuff in your reel is probably stronger on the whole than this one here. But it's just in general, this one just suffers from the classic redesign affliction of its half designed. You know, like it's very common certainly on Real Talk and in applications we saw with in redesign applications or redesigns in applications. It's very common for the redesign to be like 30 to 50% complete. Like complete being compared to how much sound the fully shipped version probably has, or how much a game like that should have. Just you know, just keep it going, digging into details on Foley and on movement and on like parts of movement and so forth. Okay, so yeah, standing out. I think you are standing out. Definitely. You're obviously serious, Alex. You know? Just comes down to whether or not the skills are there yet. And I think that you're putting the time in. You know you're doing the implementation as well pretty soon, so good on you. And yeah, it might be worth just digging back into some of that design work and just you know, working on some details. That's it. So nice work. Really good. Excuse me. Okay, Thanks, Ian, for your damn patience. Appreciate that. And thank you for claps in chat, everyone. Clasp, says Joey. Joey's right, Josh. Clasping it. All right. My name's Ian, and I listen. Sweet. Like this .design, .about, .projects. Click your page, .design. Does it go .about? No, it does not. You didn't also get Ian Riley Sound .about. .project, .studio. Excuse me. Ryan Steinbach. There he is. We were just talking, you and I, on Twitter. Good to see you. All right, we got design is the front page. Is not the front page. It is a portfolio. Okay, maybe, or something. Front page is the reel only. We have portfolio, about, and projects. But up top, we have design, about, and projects. So is design portfolio? Is that what this is? This goes to /portfolio. This goes to /portfolio. That is maybe worth changing up. This word design is not super clear as far as what I'm going to get if I click this. But yeah, real nitpicky thing. I mean, more so because you have it named this down here and they go to the same place, you know? It's just probably worth having it consistent. But about, let's have a look. This is probably, that's fine. There you are. Okay, that's the face. Unsure. Not certain. All right, what sets me apart? That's the first sentence. Interesting. Or I guess header, the header. Innovative. I specialize in developing adaptive audio systems for emergent technologies. Great. Collaborative. I'm proactive in giving and seeking feedback across multiple disciplines, and I'm always learning. An advocate. Yeah, what's the adjective for advocate? I know the value of audio design at all stages of production and promote audio as a core element of interactive media. Engaged. I maintain facility with many game engines, including Unity and Unreal, and middleware like Wise and Fmod. Optimistic. Ultimately, I want to make the world a better place. That's very nice. I love making things cool, people. This feels freelancy right here. Are you a freelancer? We're going to find out. Do I think portfolio advocative? Is that a word? I don't know, like provocative, advocative. Do I think portfolio or design's a better title? I think portfolio for sure. Design is just like, it's just vague, you know? It's not that it's false. It's just that portfolio is much more common. And from that standpoint, people know what they're clicking. You know, they'll be like, oh, where's this portfolio? And it's like, that could be projects. Like even right now, I'm not sure the difference between projects and portfolio is, but perhaps we'll find out. Masterminds, Celestial, Touching Light, A Broken Dream, The Cure, and Red Horizon, Ziggy's Not So Good Cosmic Adventures. Is this a callback to Cosmos Cosmic Adventures? Good game. Studio. Vanguard Interactive. Is that you? Like, what is this? Zoom out it for a second. This is okay. I don't fully get what Vanguard is. Is this you? With credits from AAA next-gen platformers to indie mobile titles, Vanguard Interactive's team is building a portfolio. So it's a team. Are you at Vanguard right now? Oh, it's your company, you and a buddy. Vanguard Interactive's team is building a portfolio of meaningful, industry-leading sound and music design for video games. What we do. Oh, there you are. Doctor. Let's go. Doctorate in music. All right. And Seth M. Wright. Okay. Interesting. This is a bit of a curveball here because this feels like Vanguard feels like this like side gig almost. It's the last thing, the top right. You know, here it is. I mean, like the right side of the header tabs. Have you worked on these projects? Did you work on Ori? You did worked for these. Oh, you did. Moon Killer. Okay. I guess I'll stop making assumptions and watch your damn reel, right? Let's do that. Let's watch your reel. Stop killing time by not watching your reel. Let's pause. It's a minute long. It feels strong already. Look at this. 3, 2, 1. Oh no. No sidechain. 3, 2, 1, and. I'm in. Oh, pop at the end. Ian. It was so strong until that pop at the end. Did you hear it? Oh, it's a shame. This feels like it was the end. It feels like it ends 2 seconds too early. Like it should have had time to do that at the end, you know? This is a really tragic finish. Strong reel, and then this nonsense takes place. That's too bad. This unfortunately, I'm being as constructive as I can. This looks really bad because this is like this video, this reel is what you see as like this is what a finished project looks like to me, you know? And then this is like, oh, great finish, a great reel, and then like missed the finish. And that can have certain kind of like psychological conclusions drawn where it's like, oh, did great, and then just like didn't finish the project, you know? But this is a safe space. It's fine. But I just highly recommend you add 2 seconds to your reel and fade to black and fade the audio. Just do that. We'll move on. This is fun. This is this your name? Is this somehow Ian Riley? Or is this Vanguard? Is this Vanguard's thing? No, this is you, Ian Riley. For you, the video is a minute long. IAN. I don't see it. IAN. Is it the A right here? I, A, and like N or something? I'm not sure. I like the shape of it though. It's nice. It's attractive. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about the video length, but it definitely ended prematurely. Okay. So let's go ahead and, excuse me, let's watch through and talk about transitions. Great intro. Love it. I'm still confused about whether this is your main thing or whether Vanguard is your main thing. It definitely comes across so far that Vanguard's like your side project and you prefer to be doing things on your own. Yeah, I'm not sure. So this surprised me when I read the Vanguard thing. I kind of thought I'd be watching like a Vanguard reel, because you've done things that are notable. You know, you've worked on stuff that is Pretty legit. And there's no... Is there a link here? Oh, here it is. Vanguard Interactive. Oh, just show me this stuff. Here we go. 30 seconds to see anything is a lot. Okay, this is very, very music heavy. This is sound and music design for video games. This music's blasting. It's blasting. And is this the sound of the game? I don't think so. This feels like a big cinematic thing. No. Oh, these are strong projects. You worked on Visual Blitz? Really? Me too. Visual Blitz Live. Like 13 years ago. This isn't design reel, only an ad. Okay. So... But... Oh, it's... Oh, Seth did. Cool. Yeah, so I don't know. No, back in the day, I did the voice design for for all the like the 1 minute stuff in all the localized languages and stuff way back in the day. I did it in, I think, Logic Pro. Back in the day. Long time ago. Okay, so this is all very confusing. And I'm going to ignore this page entirely, and I'm going to encourage you to improve messaging on this stuff and have its own website, maybe? Like, I don't know why it's on your website here. Like, if you're looking to do freelance work via Vanguard, and then... Yeah, I don't know. Oh, and to clarify, Ian, I did not voice it. I did the voice design. So I did like the effects and stuff on the voiceover. That's all. Okay, I remain confused, but we're just gonna do your reel alone. just focus here. It's okay. It's all right. Sidechain. Okay, presentation. We have a great intro. We have nice little cinematic to begin this shot. Very nice. We have the classic Zvi Sherman. There it is. There it is. Amazing. You'll love to see it. Okay, we have the first transition is where? Here? Here? Okay, so no transition. Just here's a new clip. Big blast to start. Keeps our attention, at least. Sure. Next clip is black. That's a better transition. And then we have more into Destiny. I played this game and I saw this cutscene. It's fun. Okay, so yeah, the just fade to black and fade back in. So yeah, it's fine. It's very just like list of clips. I can accept that. No worries. Love this. Love the titles. Love the page. All this stuff. It's very consistent. Very nice. Good to see. Also screams you are serious. So that's very, very good. Moving into, I mean, this is also some pretty high fidelity stuff. You know, Bethesda and Bungie, 343, etc. So these are not games like Ori. So again, it's also, I mean, it's possible that teams like yours get hired for support on projects like that, sure. But this feels very much like a I want to work for your company kind of reel, you know? Like, hey, Bethesda, hire me. Or hey, Bungie, hire me. So, but we're ignoring Vanguard. We're moving on. So, content stuff. Let's have a watch. Okay, I think it's a strong opening. I think you have more room, and I feel this way across more of the clips. More so in the Destiny clip and this one. Was it Starfield? I think that I can't recall this clip very well, but this one, I think you have more room yet to do what we were talking about with Alex just previously, in terms of like contouring things a little more yet to help deliver the story with your eyes closed. Because there's a lot of really great engaging sound design happening here, but I think you have a bit more space yet to call out individual moments and like have hard drops and hard shifts and stuff to change what we're hearing from moment to moment. Like this here, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. So here, this is all chaos. I like this intro a lot. We have the buy, we cut inside, beeps are crazy and scary, and then we're back outside again, right? Like this clip from here to here, this is a massive change. We're inside, alarms blaring, now we're outside seeing this flaming wreckage coming down. Like this change right here probably has some more room to be called out. You know, like change the frequency focus a lot in terms of the ambient space we're in, all that stuff. But if we close our eyes, like it's there kinda. But the main thing is the alarms are no longer playing. Like that's kind of the main shift, right? We just do this. Right? It's the alarm stop. It could have been that the alarms just stopped playing. And we're just still inside, you know? It's not brutal, but again, just more space to change there. And then we have this shot. So it's coming in, and ooh, that impact right here, right? So this here coming in. This here is suddenly a still shot, right? It's been moving the whole time. Look how crazy active the camera shots are. The cuts, moving. And here it's still, it's the first still shot. This is a great, I mean, I don't know, it's a possibility, but this would be heavily tempting me to pull back a ton on the soundscape and focus on this specific moment happening. Just and to nothing and right? You know? It is quieter, definitely. But like there, like this very quick flying past, this cut right here, like this is so fast. This clip is all about this burning wreckage flying right past us. We have so much space to bring that way up in the mix and bring everything else down, you know? But it's kind of general chaos. You know? Yeah. It feels like it's the design is a bit generalized. And for generalized design, if you were to give somebody the audio only and say, hey, what do you think of this? Like an audio vignette showing a big crash event happening. They'd be like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool, nice. They might not be able to call out exactly what's happening in the scene, so to speak, as it progresses. But they would probably agree that it's like, yeah, it sounds pretty full of sound, sounds like chaos, sounds like a crash, for sure. So you've achieved this. You got this great kind of EQ focus across the board. I don't feel like I'm exhausted. It feels adequately chaotic, but that's maybe a step short of where you could be landing in terms of supporting this clip in particular, and being a little more supportive of what they're doing cinematically, like with the cinematography, with the cuts and so forth, like you say so in the chat. And And yeah, Josh calling out that he's hearing things he's not sure what it's tied to. So it's kind of like the opposite problem where it's like this generalized chaos and you have things you're hearing. You're like, well, what was that though? There's things I feel like I should be hearing. I'm not hearing them. And things I am hearing that I don't really know what they're tied to. So there's this room for further like tying things specifically to what we're seeing. Yeah, like really fun design on the whole. Just more room for specificity, you know? There's a lot of Foley here. The Foley's pretty loud. Like these rolls and stuff. Yeah, it feels like the bass again is pretty loud, and you could probably pull up some of the more important things. It's definitely not like a brutal problem. It's a nuanced thing, but a lot of the Foley is like calling attention to itself. And in an active firefight, Foley does not matter. You know, that's the main thing. It's like there's so much Foley, dude. Like in this 3-second clip, like from here, from like here-ish. It's just like moving stuff so much. You know, but really, if we turn off the sound, like what's happening in this clip? We have an impact. We have one roll there. Sure, everyone's running and gunning though, right? Like there's gunfire back there. That gunfire is way more important than the sound of this guy rolling. I agree. It's important to have the sound of the Foley for sure, but yeah, it's just it's a lot. It's pretty funny. That's a good point, Matt. There's a lot of stereo stuff happening, but the focus is maybe pulled down. I think it's just... I think that's just the issue, Matt, is not that the left and right is loud or there's more things happening left and right and not in the middle. I think the issue, the larger issue, just is that there is an absence of a focus in the soundscape. And the focus probably should usually be the thing in the middle. So either it's stuff on the side comes down, or stuff in the middle comes up, or a bit of both probably. But yeah, you're right. Like it's you have things like this, you know, like the grappling thing and the gunfire. It's all kind of the same volume as the stuff happening like off screen. So the stuff being off screen and being present is awesome. It's really good, Ian. But we just need to make sure that we're keeping tabs on what's actually important to the player and to their story they're playing through, whether it's a cinematic story or whether like it's their own story they're kind of creating over time, being it's interactive. So okay, moving on, getting to this clip. This one, I do think there's more of a spatialization issue with, and it was a bit distracting. The first thing I think was like the chair, like ka-chunk into place. And like the switches flipping up, it felt like we had pretty stereo or like misplaced sounds in the panorama, and I want to see if I'm confirmed on that. Watching it again, that's my first kind of feeling, first time through. Yeah, like ka-tunk. It sounds like it's on my right, or there's parts of it on my right. But I was thinking, I was like, I like that ka-tunk and how non-digital it was. It felt very physical. I like the sound of it, but it didn't feel like it was in the right spot. Like, what is clicking to my right? Is there like a thing attached to the wall that all slid as one or something? You know, I feel this is probably room to pull in that left and right, or like place it. Again, you can place a stereo field like on the left-hand side of the panorama, and then you have this like wider, rich, more complex sound occupying a neighborhood in your panorama as opposed to a point in space. And that's probably better for being this kind of close shot. Yeah, the chair is like half the screen, right? So why not be the left-hand side of the panorama, or like even like into the 20 to 30% right of center? Why not? Sure. We pull this thing ahead. This felt like it didn't feel very mechanical or very physical. It felt mostly Foley. That's kind of there, I guess. Yeah, sure. My main feeling here, on top of the spatialization stuff, is again Foley was way out front. In particular, the movement of the character, like the kind of rustling and stuff, you know. it's just flying. Like that turn of the hand was the same thing as leaning forwards, you know? It's like, but what really happened? Like the glove turned, you know? It's a lot. There's a lot of Foley. I think that, yes, Foley is always important, sure. But it always matters. But I think there's room to be a little more nuanced, especially in this kind of shot, really, really close mic, getting like really into like the detail of it, having it quiet. The room's quiet. You can have quiet Foley. It'll still be heard, you know? But I'm not even like listening to the UI. I'm so focused on the Foley, man. Like that was my thought at the end of this clip. I was like, man, I didn't hear that clip at all. I was just thinking about Foley the entire time. So I'm gonna try and ignore the Foley and listen to other things. So those clicks. Close your eyes. 3, 2, 1, and it was like center, right, center. The three of them. So that's a problem because they're all in the same spot. Just be aware of that. Be very aware of spatialization in this stuff. Okay, locations in the panorama. That drop in volume is nice. And here, drop down. Cool. Yeah, there's some great design in here for sure. It's very, very nice. Just the Foley is just blasting. Be aware of that. Okay, and into Destiny. This is kind of all the same notes, which is unsurprising. As like the Halo thing, it feels like you've been really fastidious in capturing all these things and having solid coverage, but I don't feel like you have a solid grasp or a solid clasp in Josh's case of what is actually important from moment to moment, like pulling it up and saying, hey, this is the most important thing right here. We have a full soundscape elsewhere. Don't worry about that. It's there. It's going to help you stay in the moment. But this is real important. Pull it way up. You are doing it here and there for sure, but I think you have room to do it further yet. Oh, you misspelled announcement also. Announcement with an E here. Announcement. And again, spatialization stuff with this boom when he lands on it. Boom, kind of all around us, but it's mostly in front of us. Boom, again on the hit. It's like a stereo boom, kind of all around us, but it's all in front of us, right? So the fact that we have this kind of like mismatching of spatialization on stuff, just it competes with our effort to tell the story because it's telling a different story. Does that make sense? Like a thing happened here, but you're saying it happened here. And so we're like, well, which was it? You know, it's no longer this cohesive story. It's like two different things competing for attention. So it's really important to get that stuff right. Because I mean, we have that switch in Starfield on the right. That made me think, oh, that switch was to the right, and I missed like the next second or two of what you were showing me. Because my brain was like watching here, and I can't do two at once. And suddenly I can't watch it anymore. I'm thinking instead. So. Cool finish. Yeah, nice design. Very nice. Yeah, I won't get into too much of the nitty-gritty in design here. I think that's the biggest issue right now. I think if you address that, like pull up some contour in terms of dynamics, in terms of like what's happening, what's most important, make sure you spatialize it really actively and deliberately, it's just going to get better. Like it's going to be way better. And suddenly it'll be easier to focus in on like what small details and design and stuff can be improved. So, all right, we'll wrap it right there. But are you signing out? Hell yeah, totally. I mean, it's it's fun. We're talking about like having two things at once in the video. It's kind of also two things at once with Vanguard and your page. So that's consistent at least. But that's something to figure out with Seth, like what you want to do with that, like a separate page or something. It's not. It wouldn't be the first time that someone had like an ongoing partnership, getting stuff done as a studio, quote unquote, with somebody, and then they stopped that for a while and like had their own gigs for a while or whatever. Like it's not uncommon, but I would recommend having Vanguard as its own thing, because then you can send your Vanguard prospective clients to the Vanguard site, and you can send this site to Bungie, right? Like there's no, again, there won't be a disconnect. There won't be a competing for attention kind of thing going on there, right? So on the whole, yeah, there's a lot of very clear indication that you're very serious, and that goes a long way. You're working on stuff. Of course, your portfolio is full of things. You're doing integration. We won't watch all of it right now, but it exists. Are you talking though? It's long. I think you're talking probably. What is it playing? It's 10 seconds in. Whoa, it was 10 seconds? With blurry text? What happened here? Ian, what's going on? It's blurry text. I was waiting for something to happen. It's 10 seconds of nothing. Okay, you're not talking, it would seem. Well, I'm sad. I thought you were going to be talking. Oh, well. Okay, well. Fair enough. Is this when you're talking? 8 minutes?
Which conducts the 4 distinct...
There we go. Okay, hello.
The interactive music hierarchy folder is organized using a music work unit, which contains...
Who are you?
The interactive music hierarchy...
Ian, introduce yourself. Who are you? This is the first thing they're clicking. They've never heard your voice before. Who's speaking right now? Is it your buddy? Is it you? You know? Say hi. This is Ian, and this is a video all about whatever. Can't hurt, you know? Anyways, I think just some tweaks here and there, like we've been talking about. Yeah, two things at once is a recurring difficulty come up again. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, this site is not bad at all. It just has some room for some focus across the board on everything. So really nice work, killer. Well done. We'll call her right there, yeah? Put some jazz back on. And by jazz, I don't mean Miles Davis. I mean Jackrabbit. Bonus stage. Oh, yeah. No, Medievo. Culps! Very nice. Cranking it back up. Okay, yeah, of course. Happy to, everyone. We are now scheduling into October. I'm going to be away for a little while, so I don't know what that looks like for scheduling yet. We'll probably go on hiatus for a few weeks at least. I don't know how much. It might be like 1 or 2, or maybe probably only 2, maybe 3 slots will be affected. So they're not scheduled yet, so I'll figure it out. But yeah, so both Ian and Alex, nice work. One more of these for you. And if you do want to submit your work for review on Real Talk, you can do so down below at RegamiK, that's me, Kevin Regami, or at Power Up Audio on Twitter, or on the Power Up Audio website, powerupaudio.com. How long's the wait list? It is, I think there's like 2 or 3 people I need to get back to still, but probably it would probably be butting up against when I would be away, I suspect. So the next slot might be like mid-November or something. I'm not certain, but something like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna crank this right here and right here, and I'm out. Peace. I want it louder.